And our last speaker is Rajshri Deshpande, who will double up both in her life in acting as well as an activist. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Ah. Anand. The presentation. Yep. And how do I change? Videos are there, right?
Yes.
How do I change? Yeah. This one. Right?
Yeah, this one.
Videos too here.
You can also see what is.
Yeah, but videos over here, right? On
Yeah,
the
you can click.
Hi. Hello. Hi, my name is Rajshri Deshpande. I would like to thank University of Michigan, Joyjeet and Sarah and the whole team for inviting me to be here. And I'm very, very honored to be part of this prestigious panel. And, I'm really hearing all the inspiring stories is, inspiring me more. So this is actually Rajshri Deshpande. I am born in a small town called Aurangabad, raised in villages like Nanded, Parbhani, Jalna, as villages where, my family is into farming and a couple of other things. My father was also a farmer, but unfortunately, after a few years working in a drought-prone farm, he had to lose his farm because of the industrial zone. So he suffered many years, to find his ground. So my mother, that's my parents. So my mother almost took care of all of us. We are three sisters, but mother had to go through like six pregnancy to deliver a boy in the family. But unfortunately, I'm the last one, and rest three couldn't survive because they were all girls. And again, a girl happened. So my family, like my father's family, was disappointed that, oh my God, another girl. And for 6 months, nobody saw me. So I grew up in a village, without almost like no one. But yeah, I was the fair child, so they kind of accepted me. And I'm like, then I became part of it. But the humble background and the difficult background where my family raised us, was a very challenging thing for my mother. She really had to do like all odd jobs to handle three daughters and an alcoholic father, like alcoholic husband. So she literally, managed the whole societal problems and issues and pushed us that the education is the only one which is going to give you, a platform or do something on that. So she made sure that, we find proper education. So she pushed us to just do, maybe you have to become like a doctor, engineer, lawyer, because that's where, a humble background families feel that that's where you're going to find the footing. So my elder sister is a doctor, my middle sister is an engineer, and I my mother pushed me to become something. So I thought lawyer is the easiest option, so I became that. So my whole childhood was in Aurangabad, and I realized that money was a huge problem in our family. So I never was a part of family because I always seen fights. I always seen a lot of atrocities from my family, and I wanted to get out of that. And I decided that I will push myself and go into a bigger city. So I moved to Pune. Um, as a childhood, I was a nautanki. I used to be a great dancer. I was a performer, entertainer. Whenever my family have any guest at home, I was the performer because, you know, that's how a family push you to, like, you know, oh, she can dance, let her perform. And that used to give me a lot of joy. That used to give me a little bit of you know, money also. So I used to save all that money, and I used to decide that whenever I go on a big city, this money is going to help me. And that's what happened. In my childhood, I was a judo player. I was a orchestra dancer. So whatever little money I used to get from my performances, from my you know, entertaining to the guest, I saved everything and I moved to Pune with the help of my mother. Fortunately, she helped me on that, and because of my judo like national player medals, I got an admission also. But that was very difficult because I had to support my education. So I was taking care of two children for wealthy family, and then I used to do my studies. After a year, I started working in an advertising agency, and I pushed myself to just earn money because I thought earning money is the only solution in this life, and that's what is going to give me happiness. So I followed a protocol of life which my family, my mother pushed me to, that you have to earn money, get a good education and get married and have children and those kind of things. So I thought my earning money is my push. So I left my, you know, my dance, my sports, my entertaining part, and I just pushed myself that how I can earn more and more money. So in my advertising, I was the best in Pune. I used to handle industrial clients, and I was selling anything and everything over there. And I felt that, okay, this is it. This is the life. And I'm set. But after 6 years of working in advertising, I realized that I am not growing creatively. I'm not living my life. I'm just following something which every other human being is doing. And I quit one fine day and I moved to Bombay to follow my dreams. Whatever little money I had, I found a little footing in Bombay, and I decided to get into theater. I was a part of different kind of theater groups, and I did some serials. I did some one scene roles in cinema, like, you know, led by Amir Khan to Salman Khan, just to get that little money to push myself more and more. And I also did Saas Bahu serials where you know, the kind of a content they were producing was very cringe and very bad, but I was part of it. But then I realized that, you know, what I left when I was in advertising, that money and all, which took away a part of my life, I'm again following the same thing, and I'm again running after money. So survival was always a problem over there. And I thought that this is not done. I have to do something where I have to manage both the worlds together. Fortunately, Angry Indian Goddesses happened, directed by Pan Nalin, went to Toronto Film Festival, and we did very good over there. After that, so Angry Indian Goddesses is a story about six girls and their life in the household of Indian society. I have like some 80 cuts because of a lot of content which the Indian norms and the society and the censor board didn't want it to show over there. So that was my first censorship happened online, and I had to go through a lot because again I was part of a project which was censored, and but that didn't stop me because I realized that I'm learning something more in this, and I really enjoyed the project, and I moved on to doing something similar and more darker, more deeper, and more real. So Sexy Durga happened, and Sexy Durga is went to Rotterdam Film Festival, won many awards, some 50 film festivals we went. But online, it got trolled and censored and banned in India. And nothing. I got like tons of death threats. People wanted to throw acid on my face. A lot of people called my hometown, my parents, and asked them to, like take me back home or just, kind of put me into this thing. I had to file a few FIRs also. This is just like a smaller this thing. Many are there. And a lot of my pictures was morphed. And, but yeah, again, this didn't stop me. I did another project as an actor. I did a project called Sacred Games. Sacred Games was another one of the best projects from India, first web series on Netflix. That had a beautiful, intimate scene, which people took it in otherwise. And, because of that intimacy part, a lot of people again, harassed me on social media. I was tagged as porn actor. I was tagged as, a woman from a bad community. My parents again trolled. My family stopped talking to me. My relatives abandoned me, and I had to face a lot of threats. And again, I had to go for FIR. So take care of me. Nothing happened. No one called me from the police department that are you alive or not. But that's what I had to do, what I had to do, and I tried doing that. That also didn't stop me. Again, I did a couple of other projects, like Manto playing Isma Chuktai, working on a project like Satyashodak, where I played Savitri Bai Phule. And then I did a project called Trial by Fire. Again, a project talks about a woman's journey of 25 years of court case. We had faced, again, problems because of the rich and powerful who has been portrayed in this project, has like put a ban on the project just 2 days before. And we had to go through all the court cases again to open up this project. Fortunately, Netflix released it, but unfortunately, very few actually saw it because, a good project, if it's not marketed, nobody wants to see it. So very few actually know about it, but whoever have seen it, they gave me some 15 awards last year. So Fame Game, another project where I played, a lesbian cop because I believed in that kind of a project. This is my award. I dedicated my award to Gaza and Palestine, and to my villages. So the kind of projects I did from Angry Indian Goddesses start with, or maybe I want to go back to the Saas Bahu serial, which I did, which was paying me a very good money. Again, I go back to the money which I was earning when I was in advertising. I was doing very good. I was making money. I had like whatever I wanted to buy, I bought everything I did. But then I realized that I am not living, I'm not creatively growing. And the people I'm portraying on screen, like in Angry Indian Goddesses, the woman I portrayed is, going through a court case in her life. But then when the journalists were, when people were started asking me, when my own family was asking me, "Ki, then what happened? Did she get justice? Uh, how your story goes through?" When you go through a literature, when you go through a world cinema, when you go through, research on ground to know about your characters, you start seeing that, what you're portraying on screen, what you're showing to the people, actually, there are people who are going through things. So I felt that, I, as a human being, my job is not to just portray them on screen. I don't want to say that, okay, I've done this, so that means my job is done. My job is to show you all that, okay, if I'm portraying a character, I'm giving information to the people. But what happens if there is no action on ground? We talk about Sexy Durga. Sexy Durga is a story about a woman on a hitchhiking. Everyone starts kind of molesting her. There are so many women till today are getting molested, and none of the cases comes out. Very few actually comes out if there are brave journalists who goes there and talk about it. What happens to trial by fire, like the Neelam Krishnamurti? I'm glad that I did a story, like I played Neelam Krishnamurti to show people, show the world that there is a woman from past 25 years fighting a court case. I know that social media, the platforms gave me a space to perform and tell the world. But if she was not there, that whole Upahar fire case wouldn't have come out. Nobody knew about it. Anyways, because the government, the system, the powerful people, the people comes from money, had already said that, okay, just, the Bado. She stood up and she fought the case. And then she did that. Savitri Bai Phule, who's a social reformer, from the 18th century, she fought for it. She stood up and she said that I'm going to get women educated. The best thing what she said is, Zati dharma pantha manava nasave, satyane vartave deshasati. Should a caste, creed, nothing should come in front of anything. Education is important. Awareness is important. Working on ground is important. Keep all your differences aside and just work for it. Then I thought, is my job done just doing a characters and telling the world, okay, this is the person who suffered and I've changed the world? It took me back when I was doing I moved from advertising to theater to acting, and the whole literature opened up to me, and I started asking questions to myself that who am I? Why I'm here? What am I doing? And when started looking back to my family, my mother, my grandmother, my family, my uncle, the whole society where I come from, and I feel that those people are still there. I must have gone up because I felt like, I want to earn money, I want to buy things, I'm doing good. Like if my relative is not doing good, okay, if my friend is doing not good, like, it's his journey, it's his destination. But I never thought that, there was someone who gave me inspiration. That's why I took a chance to go from one place to another to another. So why can't I be that inspiration for those people who's still waiting for that inspiration? So I went back to my roots. Before going back to my roots, I volunteered for a lot of causes. I was in Nepal after the earthquake. I was handling a whole village there. I was in Srinagar during the floods. I was beach cleanups. I was a volunteer, a counselor to a shelter home. But then I realized that when I came back from Nepal, I felt that, whatever the effort we are doing is completely zero. Because in that 2 months, I know that I'm not going to change the village. Everyone, all the NGOs, all the volunteers got amazing broken pictures. Tons of PhD holders, tons of researchers were there who got a whole bunch of theses for their research. But I know that nothing has changed in that village because we all got our material. But I know when we look back to them, they sold everything. Those kids are still got into the trafficking. So we have not changed anything. Then I realized, and I asked my mother especially, that what was it what needed to be changed? She said, you have never worked on the community. You and I have to change. When we look back, the roots has to be worked on. You cannot just work on the dry plants. You have to plant the roots. You have to put the water there. You have to start working on the soil. Then only the tree will stand properly. So I went back to my roots where I come from, and that is drought villages. As I told you, my parents comes from a drought villages, and my father was a farmer. We used to have a cotton farming, all dried up. because of industrialization, government took our land, so we had nothing. So I realized that what was it? Why my father became alcoholic and abuser? Why my uncle died with alcoholism? Why my aunt committed suicide because of the issue in her own family, because her husband lost her land and he had to go through a mental health illness. When I look back to those people, I saw all the villages from areas, everyone in front of me, and I thought, ki, what change I can do? Where should I start? I can just go there. Okay, maybe what do you need? Okay, I think you need this. I would have just given them, probably taken some pictures just for my memories, or maybe put it on this thing, what I did for the Nepal earthquake. But I was broken. And that was just exactly after Angry Indian Goddesses. And I realized that I have to do something which is more sustainable. Then what is sustainable? Then you have to sit with them and talk about what they want, why they want, and why they should stand up and work for themselves. I wish my uncle would have stood up and done something. He wouldn't have died with alcoholism. If my uncle managed his farmland, I wish he would have supported his children also, who all are like into an alcoholism till now. So my first project happened with the groundwater. After working for 6 months, I constantly went to many villages, many smaller areas, and I realized there are many villages are neglected. The smaller ones, the tribal ones, who are not part of the political constituencies, or who are not part of any bigger NGOs, or people who are saints, who runs such kind of communities. There were many were neglected, and I started doing the research of all those villages, and I started with one village. The village name is Pandri, and I started the first river. So the first river I started in 2015 was my research. Started in 2016, I finished it. So how I use the social media for that? The social media who kind of bashed me for my work on screen, I started using it for my social work benefit. My first post about the whole research, what I did, and two amazing people from the film industry, Varun Grover and Neeraj Gevan, who made a film called Masan. They gave me their national award money because they were following my thread, my the whole post past 6 months, because I was constantly posting about everything. And they asked me the detailed report that what exactly you're trying to do. And how do I switch on the video? No. Okay, I don't know. Yeah. So the first rebel started. I didn't have money, so Varun and a couple of guys gave me some money, which was 1.5 lakh rupees. And after working for 6 months, I decided first to build the whole community, get the whole community together, village together. See, any kind of a work, you cannot just go there in the village and say that, okay, this will change your life. No. My first thought was, have a conversation with the ground team, people. It started with one person to 5 people, to 15 people, to 50 people. And then the whole village came together. But it took me 6 months every day to get the village together, because it took time for them to even trust me. My first interaction with the people, where I was telling them, why don't you do this, or why don't you do that? Why didn't you ask the government that, this, why they didn't do the groundwater, or why the issues you are facing in the village? So the one old lady came up to me and said that, you tell me, what are you going to do? You're going to point fingers that, I wish government would have done it. I wish, Sarpanch, the village head, would have done it, or somebody else would have done it. What are you going to do for us? And that kind of gave me this thing that I have to plan and research and prepare myself to do something. which is more concrete, more sustainable, and more research-based change. So, of course, the first change was groundwater. With that 1.5 lakh rupees, I worked a proper plan with the environmentalist because I'm not an expert. I got an environmentalist on board, got some academic people on board, and asked them if they can, prepare a proper plan. Because for me, my forte was getting the whole village together, standing there and getting it done from the people. But if you want to do a proper reviving river kind of a thing, you have to have technicians on board to do it. That's what it started with. The help of it started with 5 people standing with me in that 48-degree temperature. After fifth day, when they got to know that there is one person who's standing here from past 5 days in this 48-degree temperature, 15 people came, and on the 10th day, 50 people joined, and with that 50 people, I revived the river, which I cannot show you here because it's, I think, not happening. But that was my first thing of reviving river. Again, I thought that, oh, I changed the whole thing. I thought, oh, the life will change of farmers and all. I went back to my cocoon and say that, oh, look, I've done something. But then again, I realized after many, many, many visits to the people, there was so much work needed to be done. The toilets were not there. Nobody wanted to get into that sanitation zone. It took me 1 year with the government, because I didn't have money. And it took me 1 year to convince the government that please pay us that 12,000, they pay 12,000 rupees for a toilet. And I used to go there almost every day, sit at that Panchayat Samiti for 4 to 5 hours, along with my farmers, and asking them that, please pay these 12,000 rupees. So at least few people can start their toilets. So rest of the people can get inspiration from that. And the whole village will have a toilets over there. But it took me 1 year, and keeping that moral high of the farmers, I had to be there all the time. So from Angry Indian Goddesses to Sexy Durga, for 1 whole year, I was building toilets in between and trying to figure out how my life. So okay. So this is the river which we revived, and till today, Pandri, my first village, is drought free, and fortunately, they are having great crops every year now. But you cannot just work on something once and then the change happens. Every 2 years, we had to revive that river again and again. Fortunately, after 5 years, now I don't have to look back to Pandri, the river work, the villagers, because the core team is developed so well that they just tell me that the river work is done with the government help and with the people. So that's the first this thing. Of course, toilets we built after that, but then I realized that school building was in a very dilapidated condition. We had some 35 children over there, and many of them, especially the girls, were dropping out because the school was in a very, very bad condition. And anyways, the girls in the villages, they don't prefer to go to the school. The parents wants them to get into the work zone and all, because it comes from a sugar cutting belt and cotton farming belt. So most of them wants to take their children to the work, especially the girl child. And anyway, school was such a bad shape that nobody would I wouldn't go there. So I decided to go to the government. I asked them if they can do it. They asked me to wait for 1 whole year, and then nothing happened. And then they asked me to come next year. I went there next year. Then they told me that, oh, now I think we don't have budget again, so we'll go for next all another year. You have to wait. In that impulse, I decided to build a school. This was around 2018 when Sacred Games came out, and my clipping, a morphed clipping from the Sacred Games, the intimacy clipping, morphed and got into a porn site, and that whole porn clipping was viral on WhatsApp, and it was in the villages. Everyone was watching my nude clippings, which was morphed nude clipping, and I'm in the village trying to tell the villagers, we have to work together to build this school. I was looking at them, and they were looking back to me, saying that this is a porn actor, and she's working on the school. And I'm like, I had to kind of ignore everything, and I had to keep telling them that you have to build your school, because that's more important. I had to face so much discrimination. I had to face so much abuse on ground from people. But fortunately, there were few people who were trusting me, and they stood up with me to build the school. And in 2 years, it took me 2 years to build the school because I didn't have money. Thankfully, I used my whole social media to push the school project, and this first school happened. Uh, and Fortunately, from 35, we have now 120 students in the same school, and they're doing really great. We can go ahead, I think. If this video can just go on. But what I want to say, after that, I started working on a similar space, 30 more villages. Today, I have 30 kids, like 30 villages, and 175 schools survey, which is going on now. I realized that being an actor and and a storyteller and being part of the social media, I realized that I don't just want to say that my social media or my being an actor, my storytelling is going to change the world. No, we are not changing the world. The world will change only when you go on ground and actually work on the process. Be there and inspire them, empower them, and learn from them that what exactly they want. Then only we'll be able to do it. Otherwise, what will happen with the whole research? What's going to happen with the whole thesis? What's going to happen with all, there is so much which is written online, with so many publication has written those papers, but everything, or the policies, we have so much government policy, but there are no bridges. There is no links where all the things which is going to be there on those paper is actually getting implemented. When we talk about from past 2 days, I'm listening to all the whatever is happening in the world, and all the threats, and all kind of rumors and misinformation and all. Why it happens? Because we never worked on ground. We never thought that where everything is coming up, why it's happening, where is actually that root cause. We cannot change anything just saying that be kind. Or we cannot put someone's story saying that this much he is earning or that much he is earning, give them water or give them this thing. We have to go back where that person is coming from. Why people are leaving villages and coming to the big city and working. Why an LGBTQI plus communities still has to suffer, because we've never worked on the educational spaces. We have never worked on the family background and the structures, that why a sugar cutting laborer has to face, and why they are pushing their girls into the prostitution, or the boys why the boys are into alcoholism at the age of 13. Why? We have to ask questions. We cannot just work on the model on our computers. We have to get out from our computers. We need you guys. We really need you, need everyone over here. But we need bridges. You have to see, you have to find us. Because I'm always constantly look out for people like you who can be part of me. Like I'm doing a survey of 175 schools in sugar cutting laborers belt. You won't believe it, the kind of stories I'm hearing every day. Like every night I'm awake from past 6 days because a 13-year-old girl from my village has got into a rape. She was in the she was working in the sugar cutting belt. One trolley driver raped her for 20 days, and I'm fighting the case because from past 6 days the police officer is not registering her case because she comes from a lower class background and the trolley driver is from the upper class background. Imagine this amount of work needs to be done on ground. Cannot just report about it. We have to go back and just see what can be the remedies of it. And I want you all to find people. I want you to have, like, what next? This is my misinformation docket, thesis, work. This is my, PARI report. What next? We are talking about the Muslim community head, LGBTQI plus community head, the healthcare department, the aviation department. What next? We have to have a bigger, because you all have taken such a big leap. You all are inspiring people, and I expect you not to inspire one. I want you to find a rally of people whom you can inspire, and because that's how the change will happen. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Policies will be kept in some library because it has been ruled by our system, by our government. Social media is going to be like just a tissue paper, which will be like, you can just blow your nose off or you wipe your ass with. It's just going to be like that. People will say, oh my God, after this thing, they will say, oh my God, everything is so bad. And then the next moment, they will just forget about it. So it's you who's going to change the world. You have to stand up and go back to the roots or find the bridges where you can work more and more. So thank you so much. I just want to end with one of my clipping, how I can go ahead. There is so much is there. Can you go, the last clipping? Yeah, maybe this and another. Can you just play? Is there a music? This is my first school, 2018, when the work was happening.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries.
All our sugar cutting laborers' children, cotton farmers' children. Go for it. And they all used to work in the farm. Now they all go to their school. They are now as old as like as my height is this tall. And someone wants to become a teacher, police officer, collector. So in 5 years. Last week. Yeah. Last week. This is the survey which I'm doing. It's a lot. I really request all the PhD students, people who wants to join me. It's 175 school survey I'm doing. And I'm trying to get more and more academic people who can help us, work on this. Yeah. And this is actually... What happened? Play now. It's the last thing.
Okay. some context, these are a couple of videos shot in schools with Rajshri dancing with very
मौसम कोई हो इस चमन में रंग बनके रहेंगे हम चाहत की खुशबू यूं ही जुल्फों से उड़ेगी खिज़ा हो या बहार
In 10 years, I will revive 9 rivers and I built 4 schools. And I'm mother of 30 villages. Thank you so much.